your sound diminishes. I'm wondering if you're putting your finger over the mic or what might be happening. But I thank you for those words of encouragement. And I just want to say, look, sometimes we have to do a little bit more after Let's Talk, because of what's we got more to say. But I'm going to tell you, you have truly blossomed, in my opinion, as an individual. Because yes, when I first met you, you wanted to be in the corner with a book over in front of your face, and you but now you have blossomed out. You want to grab the mic almost, and I always had confidence that you would blossom. But in some ways, something that may have made you bolder is that your bout with environmental cancer. Because before I believe that you were watching the situation in Alson. You knew intellectually that you all were getting more than your share of illness and blight, because you really should, that little community should have grown up to have a high school, and a lot of things. Actually, for the number of businesses that you have, the industry that you have, it should be like New York City over there. You should have skyscrapers, the best of best. You should have science laboratories for the children to be able to learn in. You should have all kinds of biological labs where all of the species of animals and birds and plants should be studied. You should have an area with your own museum that has the reproductions of the markers of the graveyards from those who have gone on before. In my vision, you should have a bus line, some transportation that connects you to the rest of America. In fact, you got a giant train track also. You got a big old highway, and you don't even have a stoplight in the Alson. So I think I might have lost Evangelist. I know she ain't hang up on me, but
so humble with what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
I'm right here, and I'm just so humble at what you're saying.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. Each year, Louisiana Democracy Project, right before Thanksgiving, we start putting out warnings for people not to eat the wildlife from Devil's Swamp. Now, Devil's Swamp is around Alson, and it is known throughout for its wonderful coon hunting. They didn't just have coons, but they had deer and fabulous fishing. And so first, the state government, I think because of federal pressure, first put out the first warnings of not eating fish out of Devil's Swamp. And back in those days, this was before Dr. Robinson Um, and Alicia, you remember Dr. Robinson?
I do. I do.
Tell me her first name.
Uh, I can't think of it right now. I can't think of the woman right now. First name.
But she was a biologist, actually, that worked at Southern University. She was a scientist, and she had one child, and she used to take her child out on botanical walks where she would show her child the different plants and um, insects and animals that lived in Devil Swamp. And she had grown up out there in Elson on the opposite side of the track. And over the years, she noticed that there was something wrong with the land and the water first. I think it was first. Florence, that's the name, Florence Robinson. And she became eventually years later, a winner of the Heinz Award for her work and discovery in Alson. And by the time she became a Heinz Award winner, she was sick then, and she was going to move away from Alson for her health. And people kept asking, well, what about her house? What about her house? And she did not want anyone to move into her house because she said that the soil was contaminated, and she felt that the house was contaminated, and she didn't want anyone else to get sick. And so she battled against the entities that had stolen what she felt was her childhood paradise. And she worked for many years for that effort. And she didn't work alone. Before her, there were others. And, they didn't, they were trying their best to save their hometown. And it was really a battle of the heart. There are very few left, and there's certainly not many that understand the environmental issues. A place that should have everything, that should be the forefront of everything, has really been raped and pillaged. And now you have some folk that have, you have some folk that have invested their life into nice homes. They don't want, you to talk about pollution because they don't want their property value to, and this is me talking, Stephanie Anthony, they don't want their property value to be, to go, to suffer even more. And you have a place that is blocked in by some of the richest entities in the world. And in Alson, the people, whether they want to admit it or not, are surrounded by industrial filth.
Right.
And So now, Alicia, who
Yes, ma'am.
your body has been wrecked by the produce. No longer okra and black eyed peas and lima beans, which that area was so known for, and its
Yeah.
robust wildlife. But now everybody got to look forward to poverty and pollution.
That's correct.
But you are the generation, you the next. You got to rise up, raise up some young people who are willing to stand for their community. If you're gonna stay, you might as well stand. And I'm willing to let you know all that I know. I'm talking to the young people now. Some of you have made excellent grades over at Scotlandville High School, and you are scientists of tomorrow. But we need you today. You can pronounce all the names of these chemicals, and you can research what has been left in the Superfund sites. You can go to Congress and demand a cleanup of your land. You can get the state legislature to assess a fund just for your betterment. I think about that, and I'm not going to call a name or anything, but there's a young lady who has a baby. Well, he's about 4 years old now, who has been drastically uh, affected by a slew of birth defects that is fighting for the life of her child every day. She needs some help. She needs help. She's not the only one, but she's the only one standing up and saying, I was pregnant, breathing the air, drinking the water, walking on the land. And this is the effect. And my baby's going to need a lifetime of medical support. She needs help. She needs your voices. Now, there are important things in life, and one thing is for you to do well. But it's not for you to just get fancy vehicles and go and work and pollute up some other community.
Right.
Now I'm on a soapbox. Let me get off, because I don't live in Allison, but I know I act like I do. Because
I thank you.
Go on.
I thank you for the love that you have for Allison. I thank you for the love that you have for me to push me. Because even as of everything that you're saying, that's why I was so quiet. I mean, you're absolutely correct. But it's so much fighting and feuding here against each other, so much friendly fire. To nobody does anything in here.
Yeah.
You know, certain ones, and Stephanie, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. And maybe you have to tell me some kind of, okay, Evangelist, okay, you know. But it's so much friendly fire.
Yeah. That's the way. That's the way it is with our people. They, they programmed us like that. And it's also very hard, that for people caught in a bad situation, not to try to blame each other, because you know, they scared to try to
And they
pull
are.
pull the real culprits to task.
But Stephanie, as I tell you, the Lord left me here to learn from you. And I say that, you know, not like I said, not puffing you up or saying that you know, but what you're saying, I can relate to it because I'm here. And it hadn't advanced. It has not advanced. You know, some have gotten a little bit more hush money, and they maybe can get a car, you know, add on to their own house, you know, add on to their own roof. And I'm saying these things not to be fun, but simply I know these things. And I can say that I'm right for the job because you know what? I'm not trying to get close to anyone to do a conspiracy of evil. We have a lot of older people here, and all they know to do is just, you may have heard this term, piddle and patch. Piddle and patch.
That's new to me, Evangelist. Piddle and patch. I know to piddle around means to kind of just wander around, you know, with no direction, just kind of going along.
It seems so fitting when I said it. This is my first time even saying that, but I see a lot of, you know, getting new stuff from Home Depot or getting, you know, but you're piddling and patch something old. You know, so I'm just being neutral because I want to learn. If I have to stand by myself, and I know that and the thing about with me, Stephanie, I know that I'm not by myself. Because I know that the Lord is with me. You know, every meeting that I went to with you, it was the same prayer as far as Psalms 94. But you know what? It's time now to act, you know, because that's what happened. That's what they said back then. But we in this generation, we in this century. The Lord left me here. The things that I've gone through in my body because of cancer, stuff that I just had, I just was checked not long ago. Going through the same thing. And it's time out for people just saying and keeping you alive because of what they did, because of the wrong that they did. So that when I heard that it was environmental, and I was a healthcare provider, and I still see her today when I go in there to get checked. They laughing, they knowing and laughing. Because yes, they said environmental. And that was years ago. Stephanie, I am almost 60 years old. And it's the same thing. I don't see anything beautiful. You know, here, as far as a subdivision or different corporations like you said. That's why we get fought so much about so much from them because they know this. They know it. And they have an idea that some in Allison may know some things and they may talk. I think that I'm one because of you.
Well, now you're about to be...
Stephanie, one thing that I know, Stephanie, and I'm not boasting in you or bragging or putting you on a pedestal, I know that it was God himself that put me with you. Because you're the one that pushed me. Ain't nobody here pushing me, you know. I pushed them, but I don't know anything. But I know that what I get from God and what God put on you to give to me, I can give to them. But you know what? It's so hard, so much in here, trusting the ones in here, because it's so much feuding.
But guess what? We're not going to worry about that. This is what we're going to do. This is me talking now. I'm going to give you a challenge. Get one of your tablets out. And you're going to write, you say you are about to be 60. So you're going to, on your tablet, you're going to write 50. And you write down 2 people who live in Allison that's 50. Or do you think, because you know, women, we all want to be 20, but that you think probably in 50.
Yeah.
And then draw a line, 40. Write them down, 40. Draw a line, 30. and write 2 names of people that you figure are 30. And then go to, and I'm not talking about people that want to be somebody. I'm talking about some people that might be shy. I'm not trying to talk about some folk that just gonna try to ride on the shoulders of poor folk to make themselves something. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about no high profile individuals. I'm talking about some folks that got their nose in a book, or somebody that, you know, they ain't all flashy and all of that. Now, I'm not talking about now. They got to have some pride.
Of course, yeah.
All right. Now, do you all have a middle school?
Stephanie, no, we don't have a middle school. We had an elementary school and they tore that down.
Oh,
we don't have a middle school. I went
so
to
y'all don't have no kind of school.
No kind of school.
Well, I know y'all used to have summer camps and stuff. Where you got the kids from?
Well, you know what? We have that because we have a break center here.
You got a break center? Oh yeah, I've been in the break center. Yeah.
So you know, and the camps, the basketball camps, the different camps that they may have, it comes from different ones in there. Maybe trying to organize something for the kids because it's a lot of young people like my son's age and my son's age.
What's your son's age? You got 4 of them, huh? What's your son's age? You got 4 of them, huh?
No, that's 3.
Oh, 3. I done gave you an extra one. Uh-oh.
Yeah, my youngest son, he'll be 27 in August.
Well, he almost an old man for today's times.
Yeah. My middle one, he's 34.
All right.
And my oldest, he's 38. And you're so much, to them because, you know what, and we're going to get on that right there because that God has blessed him with the different things that he does. He can benefit, and he knows that it's to benefit Louisiana because, you know what, his date is, he got his date. He got his date that he'll be here servicing. Oh. You know that Louisiana.
Well, let me know more about it. But now I'm trying to talk about the younger ones. Because you got to bring up a generation. Now, let me, when I was talking earlier about with Pat Bryant was my environmental mentor. You know, when I met him, the only thing on my mind was tenant rights and community activism. Community empowerment. I didn't know anything about the environment just kind of was way over to the side somewhere. You know, it didn't capture my attention because I was struggling with 3 kids at that time. No. I had all 4. I was struggling with 4 kids. And, I just in a community that needed help. And I said this on yesterday. Before it was over with, well, my oldest was gone to Texas. But the next one, the oldest girl, the 3 girls, Catherine had her own organization with her friends called Youth in Politics. And Claudia, with her friends, formed Youth in Power. She was in middle school. Catherine was in high school. Claudia was in middle school. And then Faith, who was in elementary school, was not to be outdone by her big sisters. And she made an organization called Young Important People. Now, we got to inspire a generation, because those kids now at this point, my youngest is 34 and lives in a different state.
Yeah.
And you know, the kids that were, what I'm trying to say, when they were young, I used to take kids all over the nation, get a van, and they would go, they would tell about their communities, they tell about the environmental impact. They met Native Americans, Hispanic Americans. We protested. One Faith still talk about, she was in elementary school out protesting to boycott grapes because the farm workers, she heard that the farm workers were boycotting grapes because of indecent working conditions. They were getting sick. And Mr. Chavez, who is known around the world, she heard him say boycott grapes. And at the time, she loved grapes and raisins. And she told me on the way back from that meeting, she said, Mama, we're going to boycott grapes. And I said, okay. And I know she boycotted grapes. Well, all of us, I know 10 years. So even an elementary schooler, given the right information, can make an impact. And our greatest resource is our children. You know, now we letting the devil have them smoked out and shot up and drunk up. We got to give them something else.
Yeah.
So that they know that they're needed, that they're wanted, that they have a purpose. We got to give them something to fight. They fighting their own bodies now. And they know something wrong, but they don't know what's wrong, what to do. We got to give them an answer. So I've been on the soapbox. This is Let's Talk Some More. I've been on the soapbox here, but I see a lot of potential for Alson. And not just Alson, but their communities all over Louisiana, all over the South, all over the nation. And we have to remember that the entities that are polluting up and messing up our stuff are doing it all over the world because money is their God. They don't care nothing about people. They want more money. And I know you have been hearing about in the legislature, they trying to get on the water board. I want here in Louisiana. They're already wasting up. They get our water, which comes from aquifers, clean, pure water. They get it for $5 per million gallons. Now, you and me, when we pay water bill, it's $75, $85 a month. They get, and we couldn't use 1 million gallons if no way. We couldn't use 1 million gallons in a lifetime, I don't think. But we got to get some young person to calculate how much does a Louisiana household, or does the average household, how much water does it use in a month, in a year, in a day? And multiply the cost. But the point that I want to make, something that Willie Fontenot says all the time, and Willie Fontenot is a blind Cajun. that worked for the Attorney General's office and went all over Louisiana. He's an environmentalist, and he says that for the next generation, the war is going to be for water. They will have polluted up everything, and they are going to be looking for clean water. And I'm going to show you a forerunner of that, Alicia. I was in Atlanta a couple of years back before the pandemic, and they were telling the people not to wash their cars or water their lawns because of the drought. At the same time, Coca-Cola, and you know, I love me some Coca-Cola, but Coca-Cola wasn't right with what they did. Coca-Cola wanted all their water, all the water, you know, the water, the resource water that's for everybody. They wanted the people shut off so that they could get their water to make their cold drinks and to bottle for DeSanti, and shut the people out of water. Let them get it where they could find it. Now they wanted to take the municipal water, and luckily the drought ended. But you would have seen something right there. When I saw that, I said, "Oh my goodness! Just think of all the cold drink companies and the water companies in all kind of cities will be fighting for water for you to buy, because the water out of the tap, you got a question with, even if it's pure. Is it laced with this? The industry, the polluting industries don't want to use it because they say it clog. They don't want to use Mississippi water because they say it clog up their stuff. And every time they get a chance, and the people assigned with protecting the water, every time they turn their back, they're releasing water where they shouldn't. Now here in Baton Rouge, Exxon was killing up the fish, releasing hot water, their hot polluted water, into the Mississippi, killing up the fish.
Wow.
And we all, now see, plants, they don't have to eat. But when you kill up all the fish, all the game, pollute up all the water, mess up the air, then what? Who you gonna sell to? They gotta make sense. But they figure if it don't kill you immediately, they'll get away with it. And if it kill you immediately, they'll say it wasn't them. You had underlying medical conditions that caused you to die prematurely. Anyway, we got to get some younger people, the next generation, the vanguard, some foot soldiers. That not only, and they got, I'm going to say this, they got in my viewpoint, they got to realize that the beginning and the end is not in them. There's a greater power.
Right.
And he ain't happy with us messing up his stuff. Somebody got to answer. I want to be on the Lord's side.
That's right. Jesus, have mercy. That's right. Lord have mercy. And let me not be one that just quotes scriptures and, not even thinking, let me never do that. Because it's like you said, this is his earth.
Mm-hmm. He made it and said it's good.
And it's, yeah. And the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof,
Mm-hmm.
the world and they that dwell therein.
Yeah.
And as you said, that he's not pleased with what's going on and destroying his earth.
That's right.
His earth.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanie, just like I was so timid and in that corner with my head, with that book covering my head.
I'm covering up my eyes with my hands. And you were like, you do it. No, you do it. And I'd be like, oh my goodness.
So you stand and you push me, and you know what? And that never has been done for me, you know, because people, I mean, they'll pump up and push up who they want, and I think that sometimes, you know, you kind of like that, but you don't know anything, and that's what the Lord wants us to get to that place where we can say, I don't know nothing, Lord. I don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank God that He had me on the path of not seeing anyone right now, because you know what? New stuff going to be deposited in me.
Yeah.
To be able to get these things that you talked about in the beginning of Let's Talk Some More.
Mm-hmm.
That we can have right here.
And I the challenge that I gave to you to write down just 2 people in your community in each of those age groups. Go on down from, you know, till you get to high school, middle school, elementary school. And you might not know their names. You might just be like the Jones girl, you know, you know, you might not know their name. But we got to recruit them. And I'm not just putting that challenge to you. I'm putting it to every single solitary environmentally impacted community. Because let me tell you, as I look up, it ain't that many of us left. Pat Bryant, who was my mentor, is 75 years old. I don't know. Now, you know about the Bible and that something score and this. How many years are we, if we do good?
I think it says 2. I know what you're talking about. I think it's 2 scores and something, but I looked that up.
Look it up, because you say you about to be 60.
Oh my God.
I'm older than you. I'm about to be 70.
Ooh.
He 75. When he found me, I was a young woman. You know, I was still childbearing age and still had a lot. And we got to get them younger and younger, because they sick younger and younger.
Yeah. So Stephanie, I thank God that I'm a charge to you. I'm a charge to you from God, you know. So if you're gonna kind of get a little switch and say, okay, Alicia, I'm gonna have to whip you right now. I'm gonna have to be able to just say, okay, and you know, not get mad and puffed up because I need a spanking.
Well,
I go so in the corner.
Oh yeah.
And cover my head.
I know. God bless your pea-picking heart. I know. I'll come up with a quick excuse, and it's valid. But there's a solution. And that
no time.
There's
without excuse right now.
Well, even when you got an excuse, you know, just like I told you, my maintenance man said you need to travel.
Yeah.
When he said that, you know, I was in a corner. I wasn't feeling that good. You know, I was barely going up and down stairs without getting winded. You know, I'm thinking to myself, all I need, I'm going to be honest with you. And the Lord just didn't give it to me. I had said, when I get a piece of money, I'm going to get me a lazy boy. You know, one of them good chairs. You know, I say, I'm going to get me a lazy boy.
No. Ooh.
I was gonna get me a lazy boy. Now I really don't. I'm not into so much TV like people, that they got to have a big giant Magungo screen TV. But I do like movies. So I have a projector. I was looking at my white wall that I was gonna be projecting
Wow.
me some movies
Right.
on. But instead, I
Wow.
I thought about that. Listen, I thought about that Lincoln Theater we used to go to, and over in South Baton Rouge, and I thought about that vacant lot that we use
Mm-hmm.
for parking at Little Rising Sun. We have a grass lot, and I'm thinking about
Mm-hmm.
who can I find to sponsor me a big old screen. Let me bring that projector, get some speakers, let the kids come and watch a movie.
Yeah. Wow.
And before the movie or after the movie, we have an environmental talk, a community talk, because it's about, my grandmother used to say all the time, never sell the land. But our land is being bought up by people that don't care nothing about us. We got to stop that stuff. They're using,
That's what they,
go on.
no, that's what they want to do here, but you know what? But then see, the thinking don't go far.
Yeah.
You go ahead and give us some money and buy us out. That's all you hear.
Well, yeah, but what they gonna do with it? Now, I'm gonna tell you this, Alicia. That I came to a council meeting. I heard that they were trying to open up another landfill after the Great Flood in Alson. And I said, I got to go to that meeting. I was some tired that day. I said, let me go to this meeting and let them know that that's not the solution. And Alson should not become the dumping ground of the nation, starting with the state. Because in my mind, I say they already got a landfill with a mountain. They're going to open up another landfill, talking about temporary, just for, it won't be nothing but waste from the storm waste. And I say, before you know it, they have all kind of unthinkable stuff from all over the world being dumped in Alson. I looked around, I was thinking, there's got to be somebody better than me to come and talk to these people. Now, let me tell you, what's her name? The scientist that works for LEAN, Louisiana Environmental Action Network.
Okay, the super.
Yes, Wilma Super. Live all the way up in North Louisiana, and I didn't have a dime to bring her down here. And it wasn't no time, because I think I got wind of it the day before the meeting. And I was looking around. I knew that, what's that other organization? Louisiana Bucket Brigade, once upon a time, had a black scientist. And I was like, I don't even know that girl's name. But at best, she in New Orleans. I don't have no money to bring her up here. And that song came to me, go if you have to go by yourself. And I put on some lipstick, got me an outfit on. And I had that old station wagon that you had to pray for it to start.
Yes, Lord.
I had calculated in my mind that by the time the meeting start, I could just park in front of a meter. I wouldn't have to park in a parking lot. See, people don't know I be looking so good. People don't know that I don't have a dime. I got a dime. I got $1. But parking downtown is high. But I figure, okay, the meeting will be you know, the meeting will be going at an hour where downtown, the rest of downtown closed down. I think that, you know, all the parking lots, you don't have to go in there. You can park in front of a meter and the meters don't charge. And even if the meter charge, you know, like if the meter stopped charging at 5:30, if you know, by in a half an hour, I got that. I got that. You know, I went on up there. Oh my goodness. You know, the council person that was proposing it, the landfill, he wasn't there. He was absent. But your council person was pushing it. Some kind, not unbiased, non-binding resolution to open up a second landfill in the town of Alson on this vacant property. I say to myself, somebody trying to make some money off the lives of these people. So luckily, when they asked about people to come forward, and you know, when they had the part where the public could speak, everybody getting up there talking about what this will be so wonderful, you know, and because day and night, night and day, 24 hours a day, they are bringing in trash to that mountain over at Ronaldson Field. And that they are not getting any rest, and all the trucks are a hazard to, you know, to the community because they got all of these big trucks racing in and racing out. And I'm thinking to myself, all that take is for the council to pass a resolution saying that they can only come in and out during business hours. But that would stop somebody money. And I know I'm not the smartest one in the room, but I figured I think a elementary schooler could say, stop all them trucks from coming 24 hours a day. And if, because now Alson didn't have a lot of flooding. There was the rest of Baton Rouge that had all the flooding. And if they got something to say about it, let them put a landfill behind their house. You know, or what was their house. I'm just saying. So I came to the mic. The Lord uses who he wants.
Yeah,
and for the first time, now I had been the environmental liaison for the NAACP for at least 4 years by then, 3 or 4 years. But I had never come to the mic and said, this is Stephanie Anthony, environmental climate justice liaison for the NAACP. When I came up there and said that, you could hear the pins dropping. You know, because all of a sudden they want to know what the NAACP got to say about this, a landfill. And I started to say that, you know, I don't remember what the exact words I said, but that is opening up the door to solve a problem that's going to make bigger and bigger problems. And I went on and laid out a little bit about the history of Alson, once a thriving community, becoming a pollution pitfall. And they gave you 2 minutes. So I crammed all I could in my 2 minutes and went and sat down. And other people came and they talked, looked like everybody in the room was for a new landfill. And somebody that have never given me no respect said, I I want the lady from the NAACP to come back up. And she said, what would you advise the council on?
Wow. Yes, Lord.
And I said, leave that thing alone. And that's what they did. Well, you know, they went on to other business. I got my purse. I went to the bathroom first. I'm in the stall. And one of y'all who soon became an elected official outside the stall want to beat me up. Hollering at me and talking about me. And I'm like, look, that's not going to solve your problem. Another landfill not going to solve your problem. The solution to that is for them to put up some rules. One rule being that they got to do it during business hours, not during sleeping hours. They can't run 24 hours a day. They running 24 hours a day because you're letting them. They have the money. Every truckload means money to the person that's hauling it. They done, anyway. Every year I say I'm not going to be messing with Allison. I say I'm on. Look, I say look like as long as I've been in the movement, I've been struggling with Allison. But there are Allisons all over the nation, and I'm gonna say, y'all, Allison need somebody on the council that is for Allison, and every last little community out there. You need you a majority on the ruling board. And it might be a city council, you know, it might be a metro council like we have. It might be a police jury. You know, whatever the governmental entity is, you need a majority. And I'm going to tell you what, all of you might not know how the system of government works. But all of your young people taking that in school, and you let them, you have a little meeting, if it's in your front yard, let them not only tell you how the system will go, what's it called, who's in charge, how they got elected, who's currently in office, and don't let them charm you. Now, you know, I never forget this white lady that's in, you know, in the know. She was very, very upset because one industry that wanted to seat itself there in Allison through a meeting, a gathering, where they had fried chicken, watermelon, and they had shirts, you know, with their slogan or logo, whatever, on it. And she was saying how it was a travesty, how they played Allison citizens so short.
Yeah.
And I said, now this is something my youngest daughter taught me. Because I used to be, oh no, we're not going to take none of their stuff, this and that. Faith would go to the people meeting. They'd have a big old spread. She'll eat till she get full. Then she have take out her little notebook that she had made with she had gone to her teachers and asked them this, that, and the other. And she come to the mic and talk about them like a dog. Go sit down. And when they brought out the dessert, eat that up. I learned something from her, because the rest of us, we in there, bellies growling. We ain't gonna eat none of their stuff. They been catered from the best places in Baton Rouge. I learned something from her. She was in high school then.
Okay.
The girl,
What you mean?
look, she took chemistry. Now that was something I barely got out of in school. And she wasn't no, she wasn't no 4-star student till she came up there to the teacher saying, she had written down the names of stuff. What's this chemical? What does it do? What's it used for? How does it affect people? That girl got a great grade, in chemistry, and she learned something. And she used that little bit of learning, that little bit of 10th grade, 11th grade learning to whoop up on some industry people who could not say that she didn't know what she was talking about. Now remember, in elementary school, she started young, important people. So by the time she got to high school, she was ready for the big time. So that's what we got to do. Get them ready for the big time. All right.
I'm here. I am here. I'm just, oh, Lord.
I'm going to let you wrap it up. We've been talking some more about the community of Elson and all the Elsons around the nation.
Amen. I want to say this before, and with numbers, it means something to me, because I want to see what the Word of God says about that number. Like 7 is the number of completion. But I know that this is the second time that Elson was brought up in a conversation. So it's time. It's time for me, for Elson here in this community, and not only Elson here in this community, but the Elsons all over the world, to be able to come up and listen to you, to your daughters. I mean, my God. And young people, they were doing things that it's so important. And it made a difference. And this is kind of comical, but it helped me, because I was one to say, like when Ron Field would come around with the turkeys for Thanksgiving or the hams, or, not long ago they had something at the Breck Center here. I ain't going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listening to what you just said, I should have went there and got full.
That's right. And once you got full, then challenge. Because they figured, and I learned that from a youth. And I've been eating at the buffet ever since. In fact, I get mad if they don't have no big spread. Because they got a budget for it.
But I tell you what, yes, a budget. But one thing that they do about Black community, have you some watermelon and some chicken, you got them.
Well, but you got to have some. You can go and eat the watermelon and chicken, but you got to have somebody that got some food for thought.
That's right.
And to let them know, like, now, if they go, now this is how I feel. If they gonna pollute up, mess up your community, it's gonna cost some money. And I don't mean enough to get some leader a new car, a few extra $1,000. It's gonna cost them a school. You know what I'm saying? That now here in Louisiana, I don't know about the rest of the nation. Everybody, you can have a school. What do they call them? A charter school. Elson should have its own schools, and I mean big. I mean nice. I mean state of the art. It's not something you gonna throw some chicken feed at some ignorant individuals that don't know jack. just got a loud mouth. They selling out
Yeah.
generations to come for a couple of $100. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about that.
Yeah, I just was confronted with something, and I didn't really think about it until now. But I was told that the different people in the community are getting $20. See, they would sell out a whole lot for $20 or $30. Maybe to go get them whatever they want to get, but it's been sold out for a little bit of nothing. And the sad thing about it that the people in our neighborhoods, they'll let that happen.
Well, let me say, it's not that they let it happen, it's that they facilitate it happen because they can't think. Now, and you remember you holding that sign that say think? And old saying is 2 heads is better than 1. You got to get some people in the room and say, this is what they're proposing. And then what can we do? And you can't have the person that's leading the discussion that, that money hungry.
Right.
You need somebody in the room that ain't scared and can't be bought.
Absolutely.
And you need to actually get something for your community. Now, they said that they tell me that when Ronaldson came, and I learned this at a meeting, that they petitioned the people, because they had to have so many signatures to be able to have a landfill or whatever. And they promised sidewalks. They promised a park. They promised all kinds of things for the community. And they ended up doing something for one church and called it quits. And to that, they have built what was flat ground, they have built into a mountain and still climbing.
Yeah. And then the mountain has merged out and it has expanded that way to really open the door, and they're right there.
Yeah.
They're right there in the door.
And
but you know what?
And you can't stop them. They now the legislation is that at a certain point they have to ask for a continued permit. But the people not organized enough to stop them. And you gotta, you can't, they just almost automatically get their permit because they waved that big flag. Now, I think before they promised jobs. But what they give people is one man, he was very honest. He said they gave him free aggregate cement, for him to pave his driveway or whatever. And, so they there to stay unless you get a group of people together that can think, that can put all the facts together. And they got to be on one accord. And you're going to always have somebody in the midst that's going to feed the information back to the people that you're meeting about. That's just like you said earlier about, there's like infighting and that kind of stuff. That's what the devil do. He going to always have somebody. So you got to have layers of meetings. You know what I'm saying? You got to have layers. There's the general meeting. And then there's the think tank meetings. Now, when Pat Bryant first brought me on and I started meeting with people, sometimes we met all night. And it wasn't just somebody just grandstanding. There was somebody, the folks that was good at taking notes, taking the notes. Well, what suggestion do we have? We discuss, come up with a proposed solution, discuss the proposed solution, talk about what do we need to make that solution happen. Uh, uh, Come up with some contingencies in case the solution got cut off at the legs. But this is how people want to do today. They want to take 35, 45 minutes. They want to tell the elected official to come up with a solution and let them know about it next week while they go along their very merry way. So here's the elected official who got to run again, going up against a giant entity that says, yes, we heard all that you said, but this is what we can do. And they say a few lies, and at the end of those lies, they say, now we know that you are in a dire situation in this little poor community. We would like to lift some of the financial burdens off of you as a public official. We know that all your constituents, every time they have a fish fry or every time somebody die, come to you and say, would you donate for this, that, and the other thing? Well, in our communities, we give to the politicians. We don't take from them. We want to give you some stuff. We want to have you so you can have a fund with a bank account. And every time they come to you because somebody died with no insurance, or they want to have a meeting and they want you to provide the chicken and the watermelon, you'll have a fund for that. Now, this is what you tell them. You've met with us. We met your demands. And all is well. And that's all they want to hear. Because they don't want to be, I'm talking about the people. They don't want to be bothered. They trying to go to 3 jobs. They want to dump the problem on somebody else's lap. And that's how we get into the fix that we're in.
Yeah.
Now, I done preached myself to death today. I had told you you had the last words for the wrap up. And I done took us back. I done took us back up the hill.
Yeah, well.
But the solution, I believe, is to organize. And last but not least, I just got to say this. Something that Pat Bryan told us all the time. Don't go up in the meeting by yourself. When you're meeting with the adversary, take a contingency with you. And it don't matter who they are. It could be somebody that's totally illiterate. They can't read the writing or write the reading. But they got ears. And they can hear what's being said.
Yeah. And
don't get into no battles with each other up in the meeting. Y'all save all your comments that are adversarial for when you get out. This is not the place for you to come and get the stomping and banging on the table, get your frustrations out, and then walk out. No. You let anybody know that's going into the meeting, ain't gonna be no hooping, hollering, and walking out. That's not that kind of meeting.
Yeah, definitely have to be that right there up front.
Yes. And if you let them know that if you in here trying to get established to be the stoolie, we done already prayed on that. And that's another thing. You start everything with prayer. Everything. You need the Holy Spirit to go in there because you're not fighting against flesh and blood.
Right.
You're fighting against principalities. In fact, if you can, have a whole prayer meeting the night before. You know.
No, that would have to be. That's a good suggestion for really for right here in house.
Did we talk about Alson as an example for the rest of the nation?
Well, yeah, that's right. Because like you said, it's a lot of Alsons all over.
Yeah.
All over.
And everybody don't want the same thing. Let that, have that understanding when you're getting ready to go in the meeting. Some people in their Alsons may want to say they want to buy out. And others, they want to clean up. And others, they just want to live with the entity or entities, but they don't want them to go no further. They don't want them to expand no further. Because like with the landfill, they in your backyard. Your grandkids can't go out and play because, of what's in the soil. So everybody, you got to have the meeting before the meeting. The meeting that establishes, and then you got to let folk know. Now, this ain't no wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and you go on about your business. You're not going to come in here and solve this big old problem in 45 minutes, get something to eat, you burp, and you out of here. You got to be in here for the long haul. Now, and people be like, I just wanted to see what was going on. You got to learn something. How you going to see what's going on? You don't know. You don't know what the people talking about. Because they've been at this a long time. It's going to take more than 45 minutes for you to see what's going on. You're going to have to be able to go to the past, be able to find out about the present, and then have some foresight to try to think about the future. This ain't no quick fix.
It's not.
Anyway, I want to thank everyone who listened in for 71 minutes of Let's Talk Some More, mostly with me talking. If it's been a blessing to you, if we can be of help, please let us know. If you would like to be of help to Alson, please let us know. If you want to submit some names to the 40-year-old line, wait a minute, I started at the 50. The 50-year-old line, 2 people. Suggestion. The 40-year-old line, at least 2 people. Suggestion. The 30-year-old line, I hope I'm not skipping nobody, by decades. Go on down to high school age. You don't have to break them up. Middle school age, and then elementary school age. Now, we're not going to bring on the preschoolers yet. Let's let them be innocent and have fun for a minute. But after they hit elementary school, they got to join in the struggle. Their very lives may depend upon it. This has been.
Truly enjoyed.
God bless you.
I've truly enjoyed this. I've truly very instrumental, very informative, and I mean that.
Till next time, let's talk some more. God bless and keep.